Good morning. You listen to the BLAINESWORLD show, heard each Wednesday here on WPVM 103.7 in Asheville, North Carolina. You can also listen online at WPVM.org and watch us on WPVM's Facebook page. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely Fairview, North Carolina. And each week we focus on the Asheville scene, as well as positive news and information about people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce Paula Hanke, Hank Bones, and Peggy Ratusz, also known as Love Bubble. Welcome aboard, guys. Okay.
Thank you.
And Paula already knows the routine. She gave me the Facebook wave. Hey, if you could, Hank, you can wave to all your fans and friends in Facebook world, even though Hank isn't on Facebook. And Peggy's doing something or another in the background. But we'll eventually. She's what?
Just quit.
Her chimes just went off, so she grabbed them and she's running out of the room to try to make it a little quieter in here. So
I was disappointed, Paul. I thought she was going to bring us some food to eat, So
I know. Well, that's afterwards.
Okay, afterwards.
We're having a big party afterwards.
Okay, to celebrate today's show. Anyway, I'd like to mention backgrounds of the people as we wait for Peggy to join us. Paula is a professional singer-musician, and since the age of 17, Paula relocated to Asheville. She's sung since 17. She relocated to Asheville in 2006 after living in New York for 15 years and touring nationally and internationally since her 20s. She enjoys playing big stages and small stages alike, singing everything from jazz standards to Motown, disco, blues, and pop, and is equally at home in the recording studio, often adding vocals to original products. She's also equally at home at being on the BLAINESWORLD show, and I think this is you've been on a couple of times before. I thank you very much. Peggy is a singer, vocal interpreter, and songwriter. I love it, CEO of her own music career, and I own Find Your Voice Vocal Coaching Studio. She has an LLC partnership with local entertainer, musician, vocalist Paula Hanke called Women Who Made Music History Concerts. Lastly, Hank says the whole music career has been leading to the new trio you'll be meeting tonight, Love Bubble. Before that, yes. Though we ran recording studio, he composed music for cartoons and wrote a musical, a feature film, and 2 drag shows, in your spare time. This all happened within the last 40 years, and when he started learning and playing punk rock in New York City, he started getting involved with all sorts of other stuff. The instruments he's fluid include bass, electric and upright guitars, drums, clarinet, uke, and likes dabbling in unusual instruments like Hawaiian steel guitar. He's been in WNC since 2006, and he hit the ground running and starring in such bands as Three Cold Cats, the Don Henrys, Russ Wilson's Orchestra, Kontiki, and now Love Bubble. He also is proud owner of a seafoam green Hot Point refrigerator. But that's your claim to fame? Okay.
Yes, it is.
And also your claim to fame is Hank also grew up in my hometown too, or in my hometown area, so that's kind of neat to find out. Let me ask you guys, starting off, Love Bubble has been around for how long?
We started-ish in about 2018 and had our first show in December of 2019.
Okay. And so how do you 3 hook up to become this trio?
Well, I think it all started when we were all traveling together with another project. It was the Ronstadt project, and Hank was our guitar player. We were on an airplane. We spent the whole weekend together. Hank was telling us about his dream
of putting...
And I'll let you... Yeah, go ahead.
We started talking about bubblegum music.
Yeah, we were gonna I wanted to do a bubblegum music, playing Sugar Sugar and things like that. Only the guilty pleasure kind of songs that you might be embarrassed to say you love, but you do love anyway. So we made a list of them, and we were going to put on a show at the Gray Eagle, but something happened and it just turned into a Christmas show. But when we were doing the Ronstadt thing, a lot of it was singing 3-part harmony on Blue Bayou and things like that, and I just loved the blend. And I don't know who it was, but we said, let's keep singing together.
Because
You
one of
begged
the
us.
I
Sing
begged
with
them.
you.
I begged them. Yeah.
okay.
I'm begging right now. I'm begging. Please sing with me.
Well, you say that, but like Hank said, the kind of music I love the music, and so the first time I heard you guys said this is my kind of music, it said bubblegum music, but that's the criteria. It has to be bubblegum related music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all
and so
positive.
okay, and it is. It really is cool. And so from 2018, you started playing. How many gigs do you typically do a year? Would you say?
Well, we had the COVID thing last year,
was a
so
weird-
we had to take last year off, but we spent the almost twice a week rehearsing in a park, just continuing to woodshed songs, and then we got some outdoor gigs last year, like at some of the breweries in town, and ISIS had an outdoor stage, so we were able to keep working through last year.
We
So
did a
What-
couple of live streams too that were real successful on Facebook.
And yeah, I saw a couple of them. They were a lot of fun. And I don't know, was it you, Peggy, or another group that they were doing an outdoor gig at somebody's home, and then somebody called the police? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me. That was another project. That was a Cowgirls project.
Okay,
We did
was
a
it?
driveway show.
Okay,
I
and
called the cops. I didn't want her to do any other gigs.
somebody really called the cops. That was the story. Somebody actually called the cops.
They did.
Yeah, and did they come? The cops?
The cops came, but they were very nice, and they said, keep going.
Because your music is so entertaining, that anybody would object to it. I find it kind of hard to believe, but that now you know who heard the story from. So what's also kind of interesting, you were telling me off the air, that in addition to getting together during COVID, you also were starting now to have this new project, which we'll talk about throughout the night. But what is that new project that you're working on in terms of the CD and the party?
yeah.
Well, we're not doing the bubblegum thing anymore because we started writing bubblegum songs. And so now we're doing our own bubblegum songs. Which
So,
she'll hear.
so is that, I'm really excited about it. So the stuff I'll hear, if I come to concert,
Sounds
show, I'm
pretty
planning to.
bubblegummy.
Oh, is it really? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
some of it sounds like the Partridge Family. People have said that, and I said, yes, that's exactly what we're going for.
A little bit of ABBA.
yeah, too cool. Well, let me ask you, we could talk about it, but I'm really excited. The very first time I think I heard you sing, or the first song was, I guess, the name of the group, and it's Love Bubble. And if I could put you on the spot, and will you be performing this song at the concert also?
Oh, yes.
You bet.
Okay.
We're going to open with it.
So Love Bubble, then, the origin of that, Hank wrote it, or how'd that come about?
I wrote that for a drag artist that I was writing a drag show with this pretty well-known drag act in New York, who I had met when I was backing up a dance company, and he said, I have an alter ego. Now he's working with Cirque du Soleil. He's very well known, and so we did an off-Broadway show, and as part of his spiel between the songs, he would tell the audience, and now I've captured you in my love bubble. Nothing bad can happen here. And I said, that's got to be a song. And he said, well, write one. So there you go.
Well, if I can, I won't say it's one of my favorite songs from you folks, but why don't you give us a rendition of Love Bubble as soon as we get Peggy. Peggy disappeared from us again, Paula.
Peggy's running around.
She quit again.
Okay. We'll have to do
She's
this.
trying to
Hearing these things going on.
Okay.
I got to tell you, when we were rehearsing in the park, one time some guy tipped us $20, remember?
$20 each.
Oh, really?
For Christmas. It was it for the holidays or something? I think it was.
Must have been cold. Must have been
Well,
cold rehearsal.
You say that, Hank, but certainly in Asheville, I'd say it's like the home of buskers, so I don't know if you've ever done street buskering, but I certainly think you get a crowd in Asheville,
Yeah.
Have you performed on the street like that?
Well, this was just in a little off
Right.
the beaten path park. It wasn't
Right.
downtown in Pritchard Park. We were just sitting there to rehearse outdoors.
A neighborhood park.
Right.
And
But
came by and gave us $20.
But did you ever think of rehearsing? I'm saying that'd be kind of a neat rehearsal, since you rehearse anyway, just on the street, and put out a hat or something, see if make a couple of
The
bucks.
trouble is, when we rehearse, we really pick it apart. So every 10 seconds, we're stopping and going, "That's wrong."
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's do a that's right version of Love Bubble, if we
Okie
can.
dokie. Let's see.
So,
Oh, so you start, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
love,
love,
bubble,
bubble,
love,
love,
bubble,
bubble,
love,
love,
bubble,
bubble,
love,
love,
bubble,
bubble,
love,
love, bubble,
love,
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 bubble,
love,
bubble,
love,
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 bubble,
love,
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 bubble,
love,
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 bubble,
love, love, love.
one of those crazy days when the world seems so unkind. Bad vibrations everywhere, demons in your mind. Well, I know how you're feeling, you know I've been there too. You're searching for that cosmic smile, I got just the thing for you. Welcome to my love bubble, it's a place we can go.
Whatever we need
to know.
nothing for us
Us to
fear. It's fuzzy and warm.
Oh, so fuzzy and warm.
Wherever you are here inside with me, we always know that we can find our love bubble, love bubble, love bubble, love bubble, love bubble,
I left home at 18 and came to this big town. They said New York was cold and hard, soon would wear me down. But everywhere I go I find people are just the same. Put down that mask you hide behind, you'll be so glad you came. Step into my love bubble, a sanctuary for us all.
whenever you need to
Need
know.
to know.
Nothing for us
Us
here. It's fuzzy and warm.
Oh, so fuzzy and warm.
Wherever you are here inside with me, we always
Always
know
know
that
that
our love bubble,
love bubble, love bubble, love bubble, love bubble,
love bubble.
Love it. Thank you. The one good thing about hearing that song is I fortunately was able to mute myself, because otherwise you'd be hearing me singing along. I don't think you wanted to that. But let me ask you guys a question. When people sing along to music, is that a good or bad thing?
When people say what?
If
Sing
you
along.
sing along, we love it.
Do you?
The best compliment you could possibly get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excepting, I
mean,
guess,
just so they're not on our microphones with us.
Throwing
Well,
money
That
at
might not be so good.
no, but I guess that's the advantage, Paul, that you control the mic, you know, because
Right.
no, I remember the reason I asked the question. I once went to a group that was doing a thing of Leonard Cohen songs, and my brother was singing at the top of his lungs, you know, and his wife and other people were telling him to shut up, you know, they wanted to hear the group, you know. So, but I could just see me doing that, you know. I've heard this song a bunch of times, and I really want to sing along. But is that what you try to do in all your music? Do you want people to just sing along?
Yeah.
How about
Definitely.
how about
And the
dancing?
words.
You enjoy
I
when
would love that. That's a dance song. That's supposed to be like a disco kind of thing, you know, when we play it with the drums and the bass. That's a real, or even EDM. I could see that like a Lady Gaga arrangement. That's a thumping tune. I
Well, it
would
really
love to
is.
see people dancing.
Let me ask you, as a compliment to you folks, or it would be, has anybody else done that or picked it up or played it?
Not since early 2000s when it was on off Broadway.
Yeah. If I could really see it, you know, being done by, you know, somebody else, it'd be really fun to see a cover, see of how somebody else did it. I'll talk about your influences to your music, specifically with respect to Love Bubble. You mentioned Partridge Family a little bit, I can hear. Who else influenced some of your writing?
Well, that one in particular would have been like whoever was big back then in the dance thing, which is a switch for me because I'm not really into that kind of music. But ABBA maybe, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. Who were your favorite groups back then? And I'll ask each of you. Do you have any favorites?
Back in the
Back
60s?
when?
Well, say in the 60s, 70s, and then up to now.
Well, I bought my $3 ticket to the Monkees with my own money, so
You remember it was $3?
it was $3, yeah, and I got it at a store in Green Acres parking lot where that drive-in is, and I remember my mother took us. We begged and pleaded, my older sister and me.
Yeah. And how'd you get to Forest Hills?
We took the Long Island Railroad.
Oh, right. Well, remember you used to be able
Now
to
there's
take.
a song, Long Island Railroad.
Is it a song or it could be?
No, but there could be one in 10 minutes.
Okay.
That's something that we always joke around with Hank is if you say something that's catchy or cute, he's gonna definitely write a song about it. We'll talk about a couple of those times later.
Yeah, most of the songs on the CD are inspired by something that was said during a rehearsal. So,
Well, let me ask
tell
you
the
then,
story.
Paula or Peggy, jump in, whoever wants to answer it. What gave you the idea then to switch from doing covers, which I still hope you'll do, and I love your covers, to then doing original music? What gave you the idea to actually put together a CD?
When we heard Hank's songs, I mean, you can't not love them. You are dead inside if you don't like this man's music.
Yeah,
It's so infectious and positive and upbeat and loving and
every
inclusive.
song is a hit.
It is.
Every song is a hit.
From your mouth to God's ear.
It is so true.
I'll tell you, the thing is, 2 days after things shut down and I lost all my gigs, March 15th last year, I had a song called COVID, written and produced, called Quarantine.
Quarantine.
Actually, Quarantine, poetic license. And I mentioned the Wedge Brewery in it because I figured maybe I'll get some free beer out of it. And I did. Because I know the owner, and he put it on Facebook. And anyway, but they liked it. And we actually started doing it for a while, but now we want to forget those times. But after that I said, if they like these tunes and I can actually use them, we can actually use them, let's write some more. And by the time we had enough for almost a set, then it was like, well, let's do an album of original music. And so that's why we moved away from covers somewhat.
Now, quarantine, you call it Quarantine, you called it?
Quarantine, yeah.
Well, is that
it's
going?
also Quarantine, but part of it, the song, because I wanted to rhyme with something, so it was Quarantine.
So is that going to be in the CD also?
We decided not to because we want to get away from that. Maybe it'll be like a secret B-side at some point.
No, I think you're right, Peggy. I like the view to just get away from this and make it a positive kind of experience. And talk a little bit about that then. So folks, if they're listening to today especially, can look forward to something happening tomorrow, and it's going to be on July 1st. And what's happening tomorrow?
We are having our record release, our CD release at the venue where it all began for us. Our very first gig was at the Gray Eagle in December of 2019, and they have asked us to have our CD release there. So that's July 1st, and we'll be playing with a couple of other people, Micah Thomas on drums and Zach Page on bass, and we're going to do the entire record, and then we'll do a small set of cover music for the second set. So it starts at 8 o'clock, and you can go to the Gray Eagle website and get your tickets. Still not too late.
Okay, very exciting. And they're available now, is that correct? For tomorrow too, but very exciting. So this will be the first time people can actually hear all the songs. Is that correct?
Oh,
in the CD. And will the CD be available for sale that day if they want to buy it?
Yes.
At gunpoint.
You can't leave without buying one.
And you laugh, Peggy, but that's kind of a marketing technique, and someday we'll talk about it too. But some people do that. In all seriousness, I work with a lot of authors, and that's the admission. The ticket is so much, and you get the CD with it. So food for thought. People
Didn't think of that.
Yeah, well, that's why you pay me big bucks. But seriously, it's an idea that can work, and it's kind of an added incentive that people get it, take it home with them, and kind of encourage it as well. But let me ask you this thing about CDs. That I'm one of those people still have, CDs, and I collect them. I love playing them. If people don't want to get this on CD, it'll be available elsewhere as well. In terms of other Spotify
Eventually, it'll be on streaming services, and we looked into making albums. there's a place downtown that makes LPs.
Yeah.
Citizen Vinyl.
If we can get the price point okay, it'll be a nice souvenir. They won't be profitable, but you know.
No, but wouldn't that be cool
nice
to have
an
a
album.
but to have a vintage, album, from Love Bubble, the very first time they performed the concert? That'd really be exciting. So
Yeah.
at this show, so we're going to do how many songs are in the CD?
13.
Lucky
Okay.
number 13.
Now, I've heard Love Bubble before. Have folks heard any of these other songs before?
We've been kind of practicing them as we play out at various places. We'll just throw a few in the set list and run them through, which is always good.
Well, I also like Hank told a story, I think it was off the air, that one time you were practicing during COVID, and what happened that one time you were playing in a park and somebody heard you singing?
We got a $20 tip.
So now, wait, is that 20 total or 20 each of you?
20
Total.
each.
Was it?
20
each.
each.
Wow.
Yeah,
Holy
it
cow,
was
I
the
don't even remember that.
holidays.
Wow.
That was his gift, or maybe it was Thanksgiving. I
That's
don't know.
right.
Yeah.
Well, what you mentioned to people that, especially from musicians, tips are always welcome. Is that correct? People want a tip?
Yeah, no matter how large. People
No.
are embarrassed by a big tip. There's nothing wrong with a $100 tip.
Okay, don't feel embarrassed. So that was one song. I'm trying to see I think I have some other songs I'd like to hear. Let's take a second one. Correct me if I have it correct here. It's Twice the Summer. Is that the name of it?
That's a prime example of how Hank heard Paula say something and ran with it and created this wonderful song. Just a few days later, he had gifted her a couple of stringed instruments, a tipple and a ukulele, within like a month of each other. And she said at that park,
It was your birthday, right?
It was my birthday.
That's right. She said at that park, Hank, you made me fall in love twice this summer.
Oh,
Doesn't that sound like a song?
yeah, as you're singing
It
it.
does, right?
Well, and I'm really interested in seeing this because Paul had mentioned to me, I think one other time, maybe during an interview, that you just gotten the ukulele. I think it's the first time you had gotten it.
Oh,
And so now,
awesome. She just
Oh.
took the COVID and made it her own.
now,
Oh, now come on.
Yes,
No,
we
do-
had a
do-
good pandemic.
wait, do we have it with us, Paul? Are you going to be playing it
It's
also?
here, but I don't know if I'm going to play it.
Okay, well, you don't have to.
radio.
No.
There it is.
Okay, very
So
nice.
it's actually got enough tuners here. These little, it's set up to be a 10-string instrument, but Hank had it restrung as a ukulele, so there's only 4 strings and 4 of these tuners working. So
Now, how do you learn?
Chord, just to show how nice it sounds.
yeah.
Oh, hear that? Okay. Very cool.
Isn't that beautiful?
How do you learn how to play it, Paula?
How did I learn how to play?
Yeah.
Mostly, there's a lot of places online where you can learn these days. I went to YouTube. There's people who show you how to finger things. I got a chord chart that had all of the fingerings included. So I worked with a chord chart. I worked with online, YouTubers. I would just find a song that was easy, like a 3-chord song, and I would just go over it and just kind of clank it out. And, little by little, you add more and more chords to the repertoire.
And the same question of you, just in general. How do you learn how to play? You're playing a bunch of instruments. How do you learn to play them?
I started out on bass from a little store in Cedarhurst, New York. And when I was 15,
By the way, I know it now too. It's right on the corner there, right?
well, it was set back. It's a pickle shop now.
Oh,
It's called the Pickle Barrel, believe it or not.
Okay.
That's no joke. But
Wait, a song. Pickle Barrel.
Pickle barrel.
Oh,
I
boy.
tell you what, you write that one.
Okay. So you started out. Yeah, you started out
I
taking
was a bass
lessons.
player and a guitar player professionally for years, and then I was in a group with somebody named Vince Giordano, who was a famous 20s musician. He was on Boardwalk Empire, and
Okay.
he has a big band that plays that music, and he played tuba in the group, and I just loved it. And then I had a dream that I could play the trumpet, so I went out and bought a cheap trumpet, and I learned how to play it a tiny bit, and then I said, what's next? And I played a little trombone, and I brought the trombone to a gig after about a week, and that night he quit. So sometimes I get a little bit ahead of myself.
But you
Well,
tell
we
them,
reap the reward now.
But
We
the
tell 'em
Hawaiian
story-
steel guitar I started playing 4 years ago. I lived in Hawaii as a kid too, and that music got in my soul.
we tell them a story, Hank. It reminds me of, too, as a kid, I played the trumpet. And remember, I played the trumpet all through high school, band, all that stuff. And I got to college, day one, I pawned it. That was the end of my trumpet playing career, So I haven't picked it up since. But I can see a great idea for Peggy. So Paula plays a bunch of instruments. Peggy, do you play anything? Any instruments?
I picked up the harmonica, and I play a little bit of harmonica, and I'm getting a little bit better each time. I'm gonna start taking lessons again now that COVID's over, and I got this cajon. I just, do simple 2 and 4 beats on it, and so.
But I could see you taking Hank's lead. I think it would really be cool if you started to learn how to play the tuba. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
A little bit different.
She's the best kazoo player.
Oh yeah, little
yeah.
I was going to say that, absolutely.
I'm not kidding. It's extraordinary.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's about the one thing I can play, Paula. But I cut you off. Let's hear a little bit, if we can, of Twice the Summer.
Twice this summer, from these fine youngsters. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Happens to me every summer. Summertime is when I lose my heart.
The first time I was walking the dog, and so was he.
While my dog and his were talking,
Stole my heart away from me.
I fell in love twice this summer. Twice this summer I got that feeling. I fell in love twice this summer. Twice this summer my mind went reeling. Happens to me every summer. Summertime is when I lose my heart.
The second time I felt that fire was
Down at the wash and dry, we shared the only dryer.
when he looked me in the eye. That's when
I fell in love twice this summer. Twice this summer I got that feeling. I fell in love twice this summer. Twice this summer my mind went reeling. Happens to me every summer. Summertime is when I lose my heart.
think I lock myself away.
Lock myself away.
Tight in his tomb, 'cause I can't trust myself to leave my
Third time will be a charm. I fell in love twice this summer. Twice this summer I got that feeling. I fell in love twice this summer. Twice this summer my mind went reeling. Happens to me every summer. Summertime is when I lose my heart. Well, my third time be a charming. I should fall once for another. Third time will be a charm if I fall in love again this summer. Third time be a charming. I should fall once for another. Third time will be a charm if I fall in love again this summer.
Very nice. Two thoughts as you're singing. One of the things I really enjoy watching you perform is you guys really seem to have you're having fun doing this, are you?
It's a
Oh
blast.
yes.
I mean, it really does. And what's incredible about it is that listening to you, I can't also stop tapping my foot. It's like I see Peggy was, bopping whatever she was doing, but just you can't stop from keeping beat to this. It's really amazing.
Make some ginkgo biloba, that might help.
Well, Hank, what I also did, so I don't forget it, apropos to that, is I already put down July 1st. I got to change my plans around. because you know I'm going to be there. You know, it's definitely a concert worth seeing. And talking about the concert, you mentioned you're going to be bringing in some other people that night. It'll be tomorrow. I think Michael Thomas and Zach Page will be there as well.
That's right.
And so what's their role in the project?
Micah Thomas is just a wonderkind. He plays all kinds of percussion. He not only plays kit, but he plays congas and bongos and all kinds of hand percussion. And he's a loving, wonderful kid. He's got on his website, on his Facebook page, he's got a squirrel. And he does squirrel videos. And like today, he had a chip in his mouth, and the squirrel came up and took the chip off out of his mouth. And that's how loving and caring, and he's an animal person.
He fits right in the love bubble. You know, that's kind of the point. We're a bubble of love. We're spreading the good news. Micah fits right in there.
Totally.
So Michael he's also on the CD as well?
No.
Okay, just three of you on the CD?
Hank plays almost all the instruments.
I played the drums on the CD.
Okay.
Yay!
And the trumpet and the bass.
When
and
you're
the
a
guitars,
non-drummer,
and
you're proud of yourself
keyboards.
if you can actually do it. Because
Keyboards.
I'm not a drummer.
And you also have Zach Page will be there as well. And Zach's role is what?
Bass.
He's going to be our bass player. He's the bass player extraordinary.
And
That
the
he
bass
is.
lines in these songs, Blaine and company, are just superb. They're superb. And Zach is just the guy to execute them.
He's going to lay it down for us.
How cool is it for you guys when you have more than just three of you? In other words, so you bring in two other people. Is that the largest you've ever been, or have you ever brought in more than two people?
We've never done more than just we had Zach play with us on our Christmas show. But we're looking forward to this. This is going to be exciting.
It's that would be fun, I would imagine, bringing other people as well, you know, to have a 27-piece orchestra, you know, with Love Bubble. So.
And it'll expand our sound a little bit. It'll give us a little bit more room to focus on just what we're doing, and we can leave the rest to other people. You know, it's just, it'll be a nice full sound. So.
And you know, we can concentrate on like making sure the bubble machine works.
Yeah.
Is there a
bubble?
bubble?
We will have one.
Okay.
We have a banner too. We have our Love Bubble logo banner.
How much practice do you guys do before or put on a show?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
We do twice a week, easy.
And
We
how
were
long?
doing theme shows. We did a Beatles theme show.
I remember that. Yeah.
Love Bubble meets the
A
Beatles.
Christmas theme show, and it was one show. We
Months.
would rehearse at least six times, maybe more, just for that one show, and then it's over.
You
It's
know,
a lot
Hank,
of work.
it's funny you say that, Hank, because people unfortunately don't realize how much, you know, work it is to be a musician. You know, I saw a great idea years ago that some restaurants were trying to add an entertainment tip. You know, it was kind of mandatory. You know, not mandatory, but you get your check for the meal. And you could also put on the check, I thought it was a great idea, a tip for the band. Because people don't realize, you know, they say, well, you just come in, play for an hour or two, big deal, you know, but yeah, 100 hours of practice rehearsals, thousands of hours of, you know, getting to this point. And a lot of people just don't get that. You know, it's a shame.
We're arriving an hour and a half to 2 hours before the gig to set
Right.
up, and then we're there an hour after, taking everything down. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went saw it, you probably saw it also, Paul, on a meme on Facebook, I think it was. And so it works out to be about like $2.32 an hour, you know, that you get
Right, exactly.
for your work.
$2.80 an hour.
Yeah, exactly, if that. But it's a lot of work, a lot of effort. But I guess it pays off in terms of not so much monetarily. When you do a show, it gives you a high. Like, do you get excited as I am just listening to this music?
Yes.
With this band, yes.
Yeah. Well, you say that,
Especially
Hank.
with this band, but yes.
Well, that's an interesting point, Hank. Have there been some bands that, you know, you didn't have the same kind of feeling about?
Dish it
Yes.
out. What are you saying? Who are they? Tell us who they are.
No names. Yeah,
Let's just say maybe.
maybe. But it
Yeah,
happens.
Sometimes it's a job. Sometimes
really?
it's a job, but this is not a job. This makes me feel like I'm Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah, even you look,
I'm Shirley Jones.
but even the look a little bit. I can see a great look. when we come out, so this is going to be look, or are you going to surprise us with the look for the show? Are you going to have a different look?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll be
Oh,
colorful. Color is involved.
Okay, a little
We kind
ABBA
of
type.
hippie it up.
This is what
Okay.
we wear to do laundry. No, this is not our stage wear.
Yeah.
Okay, so something to look forward to tomorrow. When you do the concert, so the show, very excited. So there are two parts to it. There's going to be the new stuff, the first half, and then if I want to stay up late that night, I can. If my wife will let me stay the second half is just going to be all covers of stuff. We'll have some Beatles stuff.
Yeah, we'll just do a small second set before everybody bids adieu and goes and buys the CD. We'll do a few cover tunes.
Okay, and tell us some of the covers you do. What are some of your favorites?
Let's see, we really like the Beatles stuff. We do a pretty cool rendition of Paperback Writer.
Yep. You know, we like your favorite, Happy Together.
Right,
We
heard
tend to
you
do
sing that,
song
yeah.
quite a bit.
Do you
There's
do
a
it-
song by the Cowsills that will always. It got into my head before I had a filter. You know that experience?
Yeah.
When you're a kid and the rain, the park, and other things.
Okay,
You know that
great
one?
song too. I could see.
Sunday will never be the same. Those are songs that I listen to oldies a lot, and some songs it's like even though they're great, I've heard that literally a thousand times. I don't need to hear that again. But when that one comes on, it always goes straight to the inside
heart
of the brain.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
oblongata or whatever.
reminds me of the one with the cowbells. Do you use the cowbell at
We
all?
don't use the cowbell in this project, but we should. It's
But-
pretty loud. But
Wait, who's the one who does the song with the cowbell? You know, the actor.
Ronstadt does
Saturday Night
one.
Live, you mean?
Yeah, Saturday Night Live. The cowbell. I could see.
Oh yeah, more cowbell.
I could see you guys doing that.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
But I could see you doing that. Would just be a fun thing, you know, to get or ask for a volunteer. You know, I'll come up and volunteer for a special
Okay.
with the cowbell.
If you
Apropos-
come tomorrow, we'll bring a cowbell and you can play it.
Okay, I'll put you up to it. Perfect segue to another song, and I love the title of the song. And I'll have to ask how you came up with the music to it, but another song you do is Harmony. And so how'd you come up with that idea?
Go ahead.
My favorite thing to do musically is sing harmony. And at this point in my career, I want to write songs about things I really love. I started out, copying other people. I wrote a fake Sam Cooke song and an imitation Roy Orbison song and a fake, this song, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that's how you learn. But now that I've given up trying to make it, I just want to write things that I love. And I say that I haven't given up, but in a way, I've let that go. So I said, I was looking for more titles because I wanted to have a whole album.
I have to let my dog out. I'm so sorry. My dog
Well, we'll
is
just
here.
we'll just talk.
Clancy, do you need to go out?
And
Okay.
singing harmony is more fun than anything because you
Well,
create this thing that you can almost see.
Well, I'll send
Sound.
you folks something. I don't know if you ever watch America's Got Talent, but there's this one very talented. They're doing a boys band, and they have great harmony. I'll send it to you, but it's an incredible clip for the harmony, and you don't see that, that much. I mean, and you mentioned Sam Cooke. Boy, I would have loved to have seen that, or Roy Orbison. This is my kind of music. Love Bubble is my kind of music. So I'm really grooving on this.
Well,
and
if
so
you can think of anybody this song sounds like, because it sounds like us, but I couldn't say, well, this sounds like such and such a group. Maybe you can think of a group that.
Well, no,
who it would sound like.
Well, to your credit, the very first time I heard Love Bubble, I said, wow, that's kind of a really cool, cool sound. I just really liked it, and it just, caught my attention. So same thing too. I don't know. You said Partridge Family, maybe, but just really great sound. So let me hear a little bit of harmony and see if I can tell you who I think it sounds like.
Okie dokie. 3, 4.
Intimate adjacent notes form a cloud of sound that floats. One voice alone who never voice alone won't blow my mind. Like two or three or more intertwined. I live for love and music manifest its harmony. Harmony. It paints the air with waves of sound, coloring the space around. Can't get there by myself, I must have harmony. Harmony. A rainbow mist that I can hear electrifies the atmosphere. One voice alone won't ring my bell, like harmony does so well. I live for love and music manifest its harmony. 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 Harmony.
Very nice. And to answer your question, Hank, I can tell you who it doesn't sound like. Okay, definitely doesn't sound like Sam Cooke or Leonard Cohen. You know, I wouldn't say it's in that category of music, but definitely harmony. Good stuff. When you write music or when you practice, where do you practice at?
Usually in the park, but now we practice at the Love Bubble Clubhouse.
That's
Well,
right.
I was going to ask you. So, this is the Love Bubble Clubhouse.
No, this is not, but this is like venue number 2. But the Love Bubble Clubhouse officially is at Hank's New Digs in Candler.
Okay, where
It's like
are
an
you
old
still?
schoolhouse. It's comfortable, and that has the 1951 refrigerator.
Oh,
So I got to stock it with Knee High and Moxie and old sodas and
That's
things
right.
like that.
oh, so that's why you love playing there, and that's another thing we have in common. I used to live in Candler, you know, so. And the only thing I miss, Hank, Candler, I miss Smoky Park Highway, the traffic there. I just loved it. It was something I look forward to every day. Is that how you have to get to Hank's place too? You have to go down Smoky Park Highway?
She's found a back way.
Oh, did you?
Paula's got a-
Oh, well, I found a back way from my house to your house.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love it. So is there a big sign if we come to your house? Is there a big sign that says Love Bubble
There's
Clubhouse?
going to be.
There will be very soon.
A small one, written like in backwards letters in crayon, like Little Rascals, I guess.
But wouldn't that be cool? You knock on the door and say, come to Love Bubble Clubhouse. I love it. So,
You might see a snake or two when you're there, though.
okay. The,
Yeah, there's wildlife.
wildlife. So when you have rehearsals, so you coming up to the show last couple of weeks, so you rehearse, you said twice a week now you're rehearsing?
Pretty much.
And how long are your rehearsals?
2 to 3 hours.
Okay. So that's a pretty rigid schedule in terms of getting ready for a gig. And I think people don't realize that. You know, again, they just think you get together, 3 people sing and have a good old time. But it sounds like even for this concert, you must have put in 50, 100 hours. Who knows how many hours you put in just to get ready for the concert. You know?
Yeah.
It's worth it though, because
It
then
is.
once we're tight, then you can get loose and play the songs without rehearsing them much. Like that last song, we had never played that live before. That's a new one,
Well,
and it was kind of tricky. So that
But
one
we're
came together
creating,
pretty quick.
you know,
pretty quick.
Hank's written a lot of the songs, Peggy's written a couple of the songs, and we're developing them, right? So at rehearsal, we're creating the sound, that takes some time. We're creating the harmonies, that takes a lot of time. We're deciding, you know, arrangements and all of that. So there's a lot that goes into original music and making it our own, like really making it our own.
Well, I'm really honored to have had this show, to have the first rendition of that show, you know, for the public. So thank you very much. I feel honored
Thank
that you
you
played
for
it.
having us.
But back to the show. So the you'll see all the original songs, and is it tough for you? Also, a thing that amazes me about performers in general to memorize all this stuff. And those, I'm really impressed with the fact I'm watching you. I don't see you reading the music. I don't see it in front of you. You memorize all the stuff you play?
We try.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes away, but yeah, we try. We try.
Well, I was going to ask you, is it tough to memorize music?
It's been a little bit easier this time because we've had the finished product, the mastered, and I was relentless with listening to it in my car, listening to it at home, and just really getting it, all the words and everything in my head. And listening is the number one best thing we can all do to memorize lyrics.
Yeah.
And since we did the record, we recorded, it's all right there for us.
Because again, it blows me away with the two of you who I know that you do so many other singers too. It's not just Love Bubble or this kind of music, but you're doing Ronstadt, you do all the other stuff you do as well. So you must know a couple of songs, I would say. I want to ask.
We're warding off Alzheimer's, we're thinking.
Well, no, they say that, Peggy, right? That music can ward off Alzheimer's, and everything, the clips and the music you see, that is a tremendous way for people to become engaged in what you're doing. So when you memorize a song, how long does it take you?
Gosh, it depends on how many lyrics are in it, I guess. Harmonies has been a little bit more difficult for me to remember, each verse and where we're going with each verse, but I kind of think of it as a story that's developing, and if I can put a chronology to it, then I can do the verses at the right time.
You're coming up with a great idea. I don't know if you heard the idea you just came up with, but that would be a great next project for you. Love Bubble, the movie, or Love Bubble, the show, and just a story of, how you started, or your whole, the whole group. And think about that. That'll be the next project in your spare time.
I would love it.
Would anybody be interested in watching that?
Well, I would. Okay.
Okay,
But a Five Towns reunion. Let me ask you this, talking about next project. So we're working for the concert tomorrow night, but what else is on your agenda beyond the concert? If I can maybe go around the room. Hank, if you do the honors, do you have anything else you're working on?
Well, I think in just tightening it up so that we're very confident and we can appear effortless, which is not easy. Working on tightening up our performance and everything. But also, I've made a lot of records where my strong suit was recording them but not promoting them. But I don't want to drop the ball on this one. I think it's so good that we're going to focus on trying to promote it as best we can. I know it's a weird time in the industry. Nobody's buying CDs the way they used to, etc. But I think we should focus on the business a little and try and get to another level of gigs and maybe some touring, and because it's so much fun to travel with these chicks.
Yeah, it's so much fun to travel with him.
It's just a lot of fun. So I want to focus on the business end of it, or get someone else to do that for us who's talented at it.
Well, you raised a really good point that a lot of people don't realize this, and I see this not only musicians, I see it actors, other performers, that, kind of the promotion, the marketing is above them, or below them, excuse me. They just want to sing and come to a gig. But the expression I use, Hank, it's from a guy by the name of Ken Blanchard. And he says, if you don't toot your own horn, somebody else will use it as a spittoon, And it says, but just your point, and I'll help any way I can. But yeah, you have to really go out and promote it. And to Paul and Peggy's credit, you both do a really fine job of getting the word out about what you're doing. And I say that as a compliment because I'm amazed how many people don't do it. It's just
it's essential.
They're going to be in a gig, a concert. They don't post it Facebook. They don't post it Instagram. They don't tell people. They don't invite their own friends to come to it. One of the things I love about the both of you is, if you're going to be somewhere, I'll know about it. So you not only post it on social media, and you do it very well, but you also invite me via email. You do it a whole bunch of different ways. I think you have to. So Love Bubble is going to be in Hank's future. Two of you, again, constantly come up with new gigs. Are you doing anything else aside from Love Bubble, Peggy?
I'm continuing to do the Bygone Blues, which is a show that you tuned into over the pandemic, I believe. It's
Right.
honoring the black pearls and blues queens of the first 4 decades of the 1900s. I do that with Aaron Price. I have the Daddy Longlegs Electric Blues Band.
And I just love that show you mentioned. It was just so different, and that music I didn't know, for the most part. But that was really cool that you did that. And Paula, anything you're working on?
Well, Peggy and I still are doing our Ronstadt project, and we've got a show coming up in July at ISIS, and we're still on tour. We've got some tour dates coming up for next year at the Fine Arts Theaters, so we're still kind of promoting that on the road. I'm doing like a disco Motown dance show with Peggy in Tryon this summer at the Summer Tracks. What else is going on? I sing every Sunday at Jubilee.
So you keep
yeah, go ahead.
you're keeping busy.
Yeah, really busy. Yeah.
Well, seriously, keep me informed of those gigs, because I love every one of them. And you said, I cut you off. You said you have one other thing you're working on.
It's not all that important. But like Peggy and I are in the recording studio with an artist who's got his album coming out. We're doing some backup vocals. Peggy's doing some arranging. So there's some recording stuff that comes up now and then. So it's nice, a nice balance of things.
Yeah.
And a compliment to you also, Paul. I know you were in the recording studio for Richard Schulman's CD. You sang in that too, right?
That was, oh my gosh, so great.
But wasn't that, so I love Richard, but I loved seeing, that song was just beautiful. So if you want singers, 3 of you are available. You name the project, they'll be there. I'm going to ask you, we have just a little bit of time here. I want to ask you maybe for one more song, but I have to ask you the origin of this one as well. And that's, I think it's Moonlight Swim. Is that correct? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
And so what gave you the idea of Moonlight Swim?
This one is not the most original story, but there's a song called Midnight Swim that was an instrumental in the early 60s from a studio guitar player. And I wrote lyrics to it because there weren't any, and I was playing it in clubs and these dancers liked it. So I thought maybe we could do that with this group. It's kind of got that 60s Swiss thing. But since I had written the original lyrics to it, I said, well, if I change the melody, then it's my song. So I wrote lyrics to an old melody, and then I changed the melody, and now it's ours. So
okay, very cool. We have a couple minutes left. Why don't you do the honors on our final song tonight?
Should I count it off?
Please.
1, 2, 3, 4. Go grab your suit, let's take a moonlight swim. You look so cute, let's take a moonlight swim. You're gonna find me waiting on the dock. I'll be there at the stroke of 12 o'clock. This time it's gonna be just you and me. We'll leave the gang behind and you will see. There's nothing better than a moonlight swim for 2. Doesn't matter what you wear, a string bikini or if you dare. We can skinny dip, oh what a trip to take a moonlight swim. Your papa's sleeping off a 3-day drunk.
Your mama's fooling around with some young punk.
There's no one here to say you just can't go.
I'll get you home before the moon is low. A million stars are shining bright above. Oh, what a groovy night to fall in love. There's nothing better than a moonlight swim for 2.
Love it. What I especially loved about that one is we see the different instruments. So, Peggy, what were you playing back there?
It's a cajon.
Cajon. Okay, that's you were playing back
Then
there.
I have
And
a little egg.
okay,
Peggy,
yeah,
the eggy.
okay. Was that? Yeah, that was kind of cool. And Paul, you were doing a little flute there.
I was playing some flute.
How long you played the flute for?
Well, it's kind of been a hobby for me. I grew up a kid in band, I started out on the piano and then I played the alto sax pretty seriously through school, and then I kind of put that away, and the flute, being a woodwind instrument, is kind of related, and a lot of the fingerings are the same, so I've been just kind of picking it up for various projects over the years, and kind of had to dust it off again for this, but it's been really fun.
She
to play
shined
again.
it brightly.
No, it does indeed. And Hank, at the show tomorrow, how many?
Yes.
Hank, at the show tomorrow, how many instruments will you be bringing?
I won't be. Well, I'll be playing guitar, maybe two different ones, maybe an electric and an acoustic, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. We're going to keep it fairly simple and focus on the singing.
Okay, easy night for you. When we have also the concert tomorrow, so you did most of the writing songs, but talk about the process. I believe Paul actually wrote two of the songs for tomorrow.
Peggy did.
Peggy did. Okay, Peggy did.
Well, Peggy and I co-wrote one, and
Right.
and Paula and I co-wrote one.
Now, talk about the process too. Is that
One's just hers, and we're doing one of her solo writing things. A wonderful song, "Honeymoon in June."
talk about the process in terms of writing songs? Do you prefer writing it yourself or collaborative, or how does that work?
Well, the collaboration with the song that Hank and I co-wrote was, it was arduous at first for me because it was a song that I was developing for like 3 years, and I made some changes to it, and because of their suggestions about the feel and whatnot, I went kind of back to the drawing board, and there was there was some things that were really meaty and really beautiful and lovely about it, but there was something big missing, and Hank filled in the big that was missing, and then it all came together once he put his magic to it.
It's seamless, though. To me, it's like it doesn't sound like two different people. It just sounds like two people with but a single brain.
Yeah.
Again, it's a hit. It is so beautiful. I can't wait for you to hear it.
It is a beautiful song.
Talk about people hearing that song and others. Let's just recap. So the big show is tomorrow night. It's the release CD party. Again, give the information on that as well.
July 1st, 8 p.m., Gray Eagle.
What a fun place, too. Great food. They have a taco bar and
Great staff, great sound.
Right. It's a fun place also to watch a concert. It's just a really, really cool place. So that'll be tomorrow. If folks also want to find out about Love Bubble, again, best bet is do what?
There is on Reverb Nation is a platform where musicians can, there's a level of website profile pages that you can create yourself that are for free. So we have one of the free ones, and it's www.reverbnation.com/lovebubble.WNC. There was already a Love Bubble, so we had to add the WNC to it. But that Love Bubble group, they haven't done anything for 25 years. No, I don't know.
And we have a Facebook page under Love Bubble, Peggy, right?
Yes.
Anyway, I'd like to thank Love Bubble, Paula Hanke, Hank Bones, and Peggy Ratusz for being my guests of the special edition of Blaine's World Show. And as I'd also like to thank Amy Prisnash, my producer. Look forward to having you join me next Wednesday here at 9 a.m. on WPVM 103.7 in Asheville, North Carolina. You can also find us online at WPVMFM.org, as well as at WPVM's Facebook page. Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon. And just stay with me.
Everybody.
Stay with me a second.